Hi, this is Morgan Walton, and this is my case study for EDL 853. So, a summary of the case. Miguel Hernandez and his family moved to the district a few years ago so that all of their boys could play football at the well-known Nottingham High School. Miguel was tackled and injured during a football game, causing him to be paralyzed and unable to walk. Upon his return to school many months later after rehabilitation, his schedule was changed without prior knowledge by him or his parents, or with no prior knowledge or discussion due to the biology class not having wheelchair access. Miguel's parents acquired an attorney, whom they brought to the meeting with a principal to express their concerns. Legal and ethical issues. This situation definitely has legal issues. Miguel has the right to a free and appropriate education, as well as the right to be in the biology class he was in prior to the change with his classmates. The school is not following FAPE and is not making the proper changes necessary for Miguel to continue his education regardless of his physical needs. So a summary in one sentence. Miguel is not being provided the rights he is entitled to, such as FAPE, under IDEA and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. He is protected under these as they receive federal funds from the government, being a public education system. Synthesize the facts. The people involved: Miguel Hernandez, his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez, Miss Guzman, the school counselor who made the change to the schedule, Howard Carey, Miguel's attorney, and the principal, who I will be myself. The place is at Nottingham High School in the Dover Unified School District. It was built in the 1950s and serves 3,200 students. Most of the building is up to federal and state code, while about a quarter of it still remains as it did when the building was built. This would be the cause of the lack of wheelchair access in the classroom that Miguel needed to be in. The program, it's a public school system, and due to his physical disability, he would be required to receive services to accommodate for his new needs. Review and prioritize. The situation and possible decisions could be damaging to stakeholders. Miguel and his family have a very important stake in this decision, as it directly affects his education. Any current or future students with a physical disability have an important stake in this decision as well, as this could greatly affect what happens in the future. And the administration and the principal have an important stake as well, as the legal issues could cause many further problems and could attach a negative view of the school. I feel as though there is enough information in this case study to make a decision. So what are our options? In my opinion, all options should be considered with the parents, the superintendent, the attorney, and those involved prior to the decision being made. In order to make a proper decision, every stakeholder who has a direct or important stake should be included. Ms. Guzman should be included as well, as she's the one who made the schedule change. So let's look at our options. Option number 1, no action taken. It is what it is, and most likely that would lead to legal action being taken. Option number 2, completely rearrange the classrooms and schedules of any and all students that it would affect to ensure that Miguel is able to attend his biology class. Option 3, change the location of a few of the courses to allow for Miguel to have access to the courses that he needs. And option 4 would be offer the biology course in a different room with wheelchair access until a more permanent solution can be determined. 4 differs from 2 and 3 because option 4 would be only relocating that one class. So let's evaluate the options, the pros and the cons. Option number 1 would be no action. The pros: no additional work is needed and no changes will be made. It keeps things the way that they are. The cons: legal action will most likely be taken because he is not receiving the rights that he deserves. And like I said, his rights are not being followed. My opinion, this is a terrible option. Option 2, completely rearrange every necessary class and schedule that needs changed. Pros: Miguel's needs will be met. No legal action should be taken. Cons: it would be a lot of work to completely change rooms, meaning it could be 10, 20 classrooms, could be different offices being changed, and it could be the schedules of hundreds of students being affected. Cons: most likely not enough time for this, and the time, because Miguel is back in the school already, most likely will not have time for that option. Option 3, change a few of the locations. Pros, Miguel's needs are met. Not as much work needed to change the rooms as option 2. Cons, it may not be enough options for changing rooms. There may not be as many classrooms that you can change if you need to change 5 or 10 of them. Cons also would be may cause issues for other students if their schedules or their needs are not being met because of these changes. And option number 4, change the location of just that biology course. Miguel's needs are being met, and one small change to the building or the classrooms are the pros. And the cons, it may take the space of another necessity, and it's not a permanent change, it's just temporary. So what is the best option? After discussion with all direct stakeholders and those involved, the best option is option number 4. We will offer the biology course in a different room with wheelchair access until a more permanent solution can be determined. Overall, the entire building should be accessible to a wheelchair, and so that ultimately would be the permanent change necessary. This will allow Miguel to attend his needed course with his classmates, such as he has a right to do. He will have the course that he needs to move on to college through the next year, which was the main concern. And like I said, his rights would be followed because he would be in the classroom with his classmates, such as he was prior to his disability. A more permanent fix will be determined at a later date. And finally, the implementation. We will return Miguel's schedule to normal with the exception of the location of the class. All students taking this class will report to the newly designated room for this one class period. The teacher has already agreed to hold the class wherever necessary to meet Miguel's needs. If an empty room is available during this time, the class will be held there. If not, the library will be the location of the classroom for the remainder of the year, as it has the most space and is already wheelchair accessible. Any technology necessary for the teacher and students will be provided if possible, such as a projector, overhead, lighting for different experiments, things like that. A more permanent fix will be determined prior to the next school year, with changes already in the works. This could include multiple renovations to the school building. If it includes major changes, then a bond issue may need to occur, and that would be something we would deal with the superintendent. I appreciate you watching. Thank you.